biggest fortunes barely register when compared to the richest people in history. For millennia, these titles belonged to royalty. Because they were not burdened by taxation and bureaucracy, these monarchs could accrue wealth unhindered. Among them are Augustus Caesar and Cleopatra. But there was one individual whose wealth eclipsed all the rest: Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa, whose name translates to Musa the Sultan, was not only the richest man in Mali, he was the richest person in human history. Details of Musa are somewhat scarce because he lived during the 14th century, but a few facts are certain. First of all, he wasn't born royalty. He was appointed deputy when Malinese King Abubakar Keita II left for a religious pilgrimage along the Atlantic Ocean and never returned. Musa's rule saw huge diplomatic gains. Using minimal force, he expanded the Malinese Empire to include modern-day Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, and Chad. This is a particularly epic feat given that Musa only ruled for 25 years. In that time, his empire more than tripled. Many of the territories joined Mali willingly because of the relatively high quality of life afforded to its citizens. Though Musa was certainly not altruistic, the wealth of his empire had a positive effect on the economic standing of his subjects. But when push came to shove, Musa was not afraid to use force. His fortune afforded him a massive and well-equipped military, which he used on numerous occasions, ultimately conquering 24 major cities in his lifetime. Musa never lost a battle in his life, which caused both Mali and his fortune to multiply. Clearly, Mansa Musa had an incredible fortune, but it wasn't until 1324 that the world learned exactly how opulent he was. To the throne in 1312 also came at a very important time in history. The late Middle Ages were marked by population decline and unrest in Europe. The entire continent was suffering from famine, the Black Plague, and political revolution. At the same time, North Africa was becoming a hub for commerce and industry. At this time, Musa came to power and took advantage of the economic stability in his region. But Musa wasn't just opportunistic. He also inherited a country that was rich in natural reserves. Salt and gold in particular were plentiful in Mali, and he soon became a successful merchant in addition to his magisterial duties. He traded his gold all across Africa and Asia, establishing Timbuktu as the epicenter for commerce in the region. Before his involvement, Timbuktu was barely established as a permanent settlement, but after his renovation, the city had a constant stream of camels passing through, each laden with more than 200 pounds of either salt or gold. To this day, the salt trade is robust in Timbuktu. Though it is difficult to adjust Musa's wealth to match modern-day billionaires, economists have estimated his net worth at an unbelievable $400 billion. To put that in perspective, the richest person in the world is Jeff Bezos, who amassed a fortune of $109 billion through the success of Amazon.com. He's closely followed by Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, who each have about $90 billion. They made their fortunes in technology and the stock market respectively. This means that no one in the world has even a quarter of Musa's massive fortune. The closest historical equivalent is John Rockefeller, whose adjusted fortune is about $340 billion. He amassed his fortune through the U.S. Oil Company and various other industrial ventures. But even then, Rockefeller's net worth is a full $60 billion short of Mansa Musa's. Though he's far from a household name, Mansa Musa was one of the most influential and powerful people in human history. His jaw-dropping wealth came from a mixture of luck, hard work, business acumen, and military strength. In the 700 years since his death, no one has even come close to breaking his record, and he still stands as the wealthiest person in human history.